What's going on, everybody? It's a beautiful time in the neighborhood, and we're about to get this show live and popping. You know what? But we're about to get this intro in, so let's go. Okay, well, we're not gonna get the intro. Um, so I'm playing invite my girl up, KP. So what's going on? Got my girl KP in now. Y'all know I got a good guest. We always keep a good guest right here on Beyond the Airways. And we're gonna definitely keep it popping. But we gotta get y'all some things that's trending real quick. So, I'm a little hurt. Um we got some cats that
Let
won
me hear
over the
it.
weekend,
Let me
and
hear
we got
it.
some cats that lost over the
Let
weekend.
me hear it. Let me hear.
But we're not gonna dwell on negativity.
Mm-mm,
Um
mm-mm, mm-mm. Let me hear
because
it. Let me hear
negativity
it.
is not what we do here. But
Mm-mm.
congratulations to the school in South Carolina. I'm not gonna say the best school in South Carolina, but congratulations to the Gamecocks. They did beat the Clemson Tigers on Saturday. And congratulations also to Alabama. They did beat Auburn. Um, there's a lot of rivalry games that happened over the weekend. Um, at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not shocked that Clemson lost because I made a statement the other week. I said if they play like they played against Miami in the second half, Carolina will hit them for a run on their money, especially the way they beat Tennessee. And that's
And
literally what
I'm just
happened.
gonna say they played worse than they beat when they played Tennessee, and they still beat Clemson. So
So so at the end of the day, next year, you know, Kendra got her Spurs is up. But on a gooder note, the Carolina Panthers won yesterday, so we're gonna take
mm-hmm,
those W's when we get them.
mm-hmm,
Um,
mm-hmm.
and
The Ravens
everything.
lost. I don't understand it. I don't know how we lost the sunshine from Remember the Titans, but here we are. Just
It happens. It happens. It
I
happens.
mean,
But it's definitely a good situation. Well, anyway it goes, it was a great weekend for football.
mhm.
That is definitely a plus. And it's always a good thing, impactful. So we got an awesome good show. We got an awesome good show this weekend. Was a great weekend, Thanksgiving weekend. So a lot of us was stuffed. I know I was.
Mhm,
Was y'all stuff over there, Kendra?
mhm,
She said, I'm still feeling good.
mhm.
But don't eat leftovers after today.
No,
It's
no,
gone.
no, baby. If you no, if you trying to see 2023, you supposed to throw them away yesterday. Okay. If you trying to die, go ahead and eat it today. We'll send our condolences on next week. But if you still have it, you can't cook and don't make it no more. My grandma told me to tell y'all that. Mhm.
Well, don't eat it no more,
Shouldn't be
y'all.
nothing but cakes left. It shouldn't be nothing but cakes and maybe a little slither of pie. But if you got food from 5 days ago, you can't cook. My grandma told me to tell you, you can't cook. Throw it away.
They can't
Don't
cook.
make it no more.
Well, most definitely. Well, you know what? We got a great guest today. She is the doctor chef, so she gonna tell you if you don't get the answers you want from her off the show, and you still eating that food, you gonna see Doctor Jesus. That's who you gonna see. That's who you gonna see.
Come on in the room.
That's who you gonna see.
Come
But
on in the room. That's what you're gonna be going into the emergency room. Getting on them folks' nerves because y'all got food poisoning.
they just doing too much. That's what's going
Throw it
on.
away. We don't want it. Don't even get it to the dog. The dog might end up with worms. Don't even get that turkey to the dog. Just throw it on out. Don't.
Not getting worms. But what we're gonna do is, we're gonna drop a little video. We're gonna have to build it up for the doctor that's coming on in. She gonna make a nice Beyond the Airways house call for us. And
House
let us,
call.
yeah, they make house calls. Back in the day they had that show called House. Boy, they did some things on that show. But we got a doctor that's gonna be making some house calls today. To let us know a little bit about what she has going on. just give you a little bit about her. She's been practicing for. I'm very curious about her line of medicine. I have not seen this person practice before, and I have not seen this term before. Naturopathic doctor. Ooh, that makes my skin crawl. But she has been practicing since 2007. She's a master coach. She's a practitioner, and she has done so many marvelous things. So we definitely going to um, see what's going on with her, see how she has been taking care of people, sowing seeds around the country, taking care of people all over the world. And right after this actual song is likely literally is what we're going to do. So we're gonna take a little moment. We're gonna get into that. And then we're gonna have a little fun. So let's make it
Of
happen.
course.
A little fun. Just a little bit.
With the doctor.
Walking around these walls, I thought by now they'd fall, but you have never failed me yet. Waiting for change to come, knowing the battle's won, for you have never failed me yet. Your promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never failed me your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands, and this is my confidence. You'll never fail. Yeah. Promise still stands. Great is your faithfulness, your faithfulness. I'm still in your hands. This is my confidence. You never fail me yet. You never failed me yet. I never will forget. You never failed me yet. I never will forget. You never failed me yet.
Add myself back to the screen. Back up. Technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. Do this. Run the solo layout. And then I can add her back. And all right. Got you back. All right. Technical difficulties, guys, but we are back on the scene. You always know technology can be your friend, it can be your worst enemy, but most importantly, you definitely want to always use it to your advantage. But we have a person on the show that we already said if you've been eating your leftovers from Thanksgiving and you ain't throwing them away, we got a doctor that's going to tell you to stop eating them. So, Dr. Tonia Winchester, ladies and gentlemen, is on the show. Now, I am very curious because I've never ran into a doctor that actually practice what you practice. So, and I don't want to mess it up. I'm just going to be honest with you. But you are a licensed, is it neuropathic doctor?
So a naturopathic doctor.
Okay.
And then I'm also certified in neuro-linguistic programming. So lots of big words.
Wow.
Do you want me to talk a little bit about what a naturopathic doctor is? Would that be?
Yes, ma'am. Because I know a lot of people may not know what. Like me, I didn't know what it was, and I got a college degree. I got 2 of them. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah. So I don't know how it is in the States. I live in Canada, but here there's 2 main types of physicians. So there's naturopathic doctors and there's medical doctors. And a naturopathic doctor, I know they exist in the States. They're definitely around. But a naturopathic doctor is someone you'd go to see them for the same reason you'd go see your general family practitioner. We just approach things really differently. So I'm always looking to get to the root cause of illness. So if someone comes into my office with a headache, I'm thinking, okay, what is actually causing this headache? I'm not interested in just providing a medication that's going to numb that headache. I want to actually figure out, well, why is this headache there? What's the body trying to tell us? And so that's one of the main differences is we really dig to get to the root cause. And then I'm generally choosing natural remedies to help people, whether they be food as medicine or changing habits or lifestyle changes or using herbal medicines or even homeopathic remedies. I do acupuncture. So the closer to nature the medicine is, that's where I'm typically focusing with my patients. Yeah.
Wow. That's cool. So how did you get into that? Did you want to do that when you was a little girl?
Oh, I love that question. I was actually on track to become a Western medical doctor when I was young. And here's a crazy story of I was 16 and I'd fallen off a trampoline and I sprained my elbow. And my doctor decided to run x-rays just to make sure nothing was broken. And he brings me into his office after we got the x-rays back, and he whips the x-ray up onto the light box in his office, and he says to me, "Are you doing drugs?" And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "We found something in your elbow. It looks like it's the broken off tip of a needle. Are you doing drugs?" And I was just shocked at this. I was at that point in my life a straight A plus student dancing. I was a dancer, dancing 6 hours, often 6 times a week. And I was like, how is this? How are you even like, I don't even understand what you're asking me right now. And in that moment, looking back on it, it really changed my desire to be a different type of doctor. And I wanted to be a type of doctor who really looked at a whole human being in the context of their environment versus just sort of I don't know, going for these sort of outlandish accusations. So the needle or alleged needle was never operated on. It was never removed. So we never actually found out what it is, but it was enough for me to change my path. I was quite actually, in fairness, disenchanted with my own personal journey as a patient in the Western medical system. And I just knew that I wanted to help people in a different way. I wanted to help people in a way that was kind and compassionate and sustainable. And naturopathic medicine was a great option. So I discovered it personally a couple years later when I was in grade 12. I was introduced to alternative medicine. That wasn't something that my family ever dealt with or was involved with. But I was introduced to that, in around 17, 18, and then just knew that's what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. Oh, we lost him.
Well, I will say that I am one of those people who loves alternative medicine. I believe in the onions in your socks when you have fevers
Sure.
and things like that. Simply because I think that sometimes Western medicine, although it's good and it has its place, sometimes we band-aid things that um, and then with pharmaceutical companies being the way that they are, you take something for one thing and then you got a whole nother ailment because of the side effects of the medicine. So I love homeopathic remedies. I love finding alternative medicines. This is right up my alley. I did not know there was an actual term for it. But to know that in Canada, what it's called is really neat, and I commend you for that. I think that when people think of medicine, they think of the standard physicians, and they all have their place. But then you can be treating something, and the root cause be something else, and you not know unless you take that deep dive. And sometimes it's just as easy as a question, or like hey, maybe you shouldn't eat gluten. Like maybe we should lay off the bread and see how that goes. So I appreciate that. Like I said, I'm a humidifier using, speed onion and sock wearing person. My whole family is. We love the alternatives. So I definitely think that there's a place for that. I also read in your bio that you help people mentally. Is that correct? With their mindset and cognitive breakthrough. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So there's a lot of different ways to approach that idea of the root cause, right? We can do it with food. If there's a nutrient deficiency, we can add supplements in. If the diet is, we call it the SAD diet, the standard American diet. If it's full of fried foods and processed sugars and, gluten, wheats and grains, that kind of thing, like you said, we can work a lot with food and have medicine that way. And I'm really interested in this sort of neurological root cause of illness. And what I mean by that are the things from our past, things like traumas and significant emotional events, negative emotional experiences that we might not have fully processed or integrate, that is actually affecting our body's ability to go back into healing mode. And so that's where I love to work, is actually helping people overcome their past, essentially, neurologically speaking, so that they can really come back to a sense of self-worth and self-love that allows them to then build the habits that are health promoting. So eating more vegetables, sleeping more, getting more water, setting boundaries in relationships if that's necessary, avoiding toxins, whether they be physical toxins or emotional toxins. So I help people prime themselves to be able to take care of themselves. And that really excites me. So that's the neuro-linguistic programming part of what I do, is helping people literally reprogram their minds, rewire them so that they're able to really institute, maintain those healthy habits.
And that's needed in this time. So we thank you for that, because I think that everything starts with a thought. And when you have healthy thoughts, the beginning is so much better than when you start in a negative place. So understanding that and helping people realize, come to that place of self-realization is needed. T, you have any questions for her?
Yeah, so I was obviously reading in your bio as well, is that you wrote this book called Smiling in the Shower. Now I smile in the shower too, cause I'm like, it's a good time. I done paid the water bill. All those things make me want to smile in the shower. But
Yeah.
about your book, I mean, what's drove you to want to write this book, and then what's the actual concept of this book? Because we all want to smile in the shower, so it's not because they paid the bill too. They all want to smile in the shower.
Yeah, I love that. So I was really finding in my naturopathic practice, it's a lifestyle medicine. Really, I'm in the business of changing people's habits for the better. And I would sit down with a new patient and we would spend about an hour, maybe an hour and a half, hashing out what their health concerns were, what some of their lifestyle factors were that might be contributing. And we'd agree upon this great treatment plan, right? And they'd go away with everything they needed to do to succeed. And they would come back to me and they'd say, like, eating my broccoli is hard. And I make light of this, but they'd come back to me and inevitably, whatever it was that they had agreed to do to improve their health, improve their life, they just couldn't or wouldn't do. And I became really interested in this moment. Why is it hard? Like, with the metaphor of eating one's broccoli, that's not a hard thing to do, right? Like, really, when you break down the steps of that, you chop up some you chop up some broccoli, you put it in the pot with some water, and you turn on the element. Like, it's not hard, right?
Right.
I realized it's not the act of taking care of ourselves that's hard. It's the decision to do so, and the decision to do so in a consistent way on an ongoing basis. So I became really fascinated with this moment in human psychology, and neurolinguistic programming, which is the way of reprogramming the mind, essentially, was the bridge between, okay, here's the good health promoting treatment plan. And now that you're wired neurologically to actually want to do that, the habits become easy. So this was a really cool marriage. So the book is really about this marriage of naturopathic medicine being this habit-based lifestyle medicine, and the thought processes that we need, the neurological wiring that we need to be able to easily and sustainably create these healthy habits. So the title of the book came because one of my very first clients in the breakthrough process, which I can talk a little bit about if you want to, but she sent me an email. Yeah, I'll do that in just a sec. So she sent me this email maybe 3 sessions into her breakthrough process. And she said, my husband caught me smiling in the shower today. And he said to me, you never smile. And I don't know why I was smiling, she said, but I was just so happy. And that touched my heart so deeply, because this woman who was going through her day in this she's a mom of 2 kids. She's a teacher. She's a music teacher. And she was generally grumpy in her life. She was grumpy with her husband, grumpy with her kids, irritable with the people that she was interacting with. And she was in this habit of sort of being agitated, I guess, is a great way to think about it. And she had some anxiety and she had some other stuff that she wanted to work on. So after we did some of this neurological clearing work and cleared some of the things out of her past, she spontaneously was smiling. And yeah, she paid the water bill and I'm sure the shower felt nice, but she was just happy for the first time in a while. And that got me really excited. And I said, that has to be the title for the book, because that ripple effect of her smiling in the shower spontaneously goes out and impacts her husband, her spouse, her kids that she's, mothering, and also the kids that she's teaching. And then those kids are going to go home with a more positive experience and send that back to their families. And so I got really excited by the ripple effect of this one woman smiling one time in the shower. And that's really the bigger impact that I'm wanting to make, is helping people to create exceptional lives for themselves and their families and their communities through simple things like smiling in the shower, which we're not necessarily going to be doing every day unless we do some of this neurological reprogramming work.
Well, I definitely want to make sure I do that smile in the shower and everything else as well. Well, take me to the breakthrough process. So what lines up to make sure, because you just talked about that, and it's obviously a very important process that every client that you have go through.
Yeah. So I like to talk about this analogy, and it really often lands for people. And what I'm going to suggest is that all the changes that we need to make has to happen at the level of the unconscious mind. So the part of us that is growing our hair right now, as we're having this conversation, digesting our lunch right now, and we're not even thinking about those things, right? And even if you know every single detail about what it takes to grow your hair, what nutrients you need to ingest, how your body needs to digest those nutrients and assimilate them into proteins to make hair, you still can't do that on a conscious level. That's happening under the surface. So all healing, all learning, all habits actually happen at the unconscious level. And when we're born, it's like we're born with an empty filing cabinet, if you can imagine. In terms of the stresses and the emotional toxins that are put on us throughout our life, or that we accept throughout our life, they don't exist, let's just say, when we're born. So we have this empty filing cabinet. And what happens in our younger years, as we're growing up, between the ages of about 0 to 7, is people open the drawer to our filing cabinet and they put in their own darn files. So they're putting in their own pain, their own traumas, their own burdens, their own belief systems, their own value systems. Not consciously, they're not doing this on purpose, but they're just living the way they've lived based on what they've got in their filing cabinets from when they were young. And this gets transfers to our filing cabinets. And what this means is we take on stuff that isn't ours. And unfortunately, when we're so young, we don't have the brain capacity. Neurologically, we're not developed enough to say, actually, I don't want your anger in my filing cabinet. I want to leave that out. We don't have that ability until we're much older, 18, 19, 20 even, to say, actually, I don't want your junk in my cabinet. So we've got this system that gets set up when we're so young, this way of seeing the world, this way of filtering the world even, that doesn't belong to us. And so what this means is we have these automated patterns of reactions. You know, those places where you just get triggered. Someone says something in a specific tone, or, you see a certain intersection, or there's a certain mention of a past event and you just get triggered, right? And maybe that means you're lashing out to the people you love. Maybe that means something that you're not proud of in terms of your behavior. Those are all happening automatically at the level of the unconscious mind in that filing cabinet. So what I do with my clients in the breakthrough process is, to continue this metaphor, essentially we open that drawer again and we start taking out the files that we don't want in there. So we take out the files on anger. We take out the files on guilt and fear and sadness. We take out the fears on shame and any other sort of negative emotions that might be sort of clogging up the system. And we take out specific events that have been painful, traumatic or traumatizing events or significant emotional events. We take those out of the filing cabinet using these neurological techniques. And then now we've got all this space and room. We get to decide what we want to put back in there. So now maybe we want to put in a file for joy. Maybe we want to put in a file for peace, or maybe put in a file for confidence. And we can start to build those in neurologically through these techniques. And after we've cleared the past of the negative and reintroduced the positive, we can then focus on feeling really good in the here and now, smiling in the shower. We can start focusing on future goals that require changes in our behaviors and our habits to reach. So those things like getting to bed on time, or eating the broccoli, or again, setting boundaries, communicating effectively and authentically. And we can't do those things until we get rid of that old filing system. So that's essentially what we're doing in the breakthrough process is we're helping people clear the past. And what I mean by that is we use these very gentle and safe and effective techniques that allow someone to take the emotional charge out of events from the past to the point where they can't access that emotion anymore. And it's fascinating. It blows my mind every time it happens, even though it works all the time. I'm still like, oh my God, the emotion's just gone. And I have that experience. I've been through this process myself as a client 3 times already. And I'm just like, whoa, yeah, no, I don't have anger anymore. I just don't feel it. And it's not that we've repressed it. We've changed it so that it's the things in our past that say used to trigger anger are now neutral. And they're no different from saying, oh, I walked to the store. And so the stories that we used to carry with a lot of pain attached to them, that pain just detaches. We disentangle ourselves from those old stories and through the process. Yeah.
Wow.
Ooh,
I mean, that is what's up, though.
that
I
is.
mean, because me personally, like you're right. Like until we get to a certain age, we're kind of told how to think or how to feel by our parents and our elders. So once you get to a certain age, even though, like, I don't know if Kendra feel this way, like when you 18, 19 years old, you're supposed to tell yourself how you feel. They still gonna try to tell you how to feel sometimes. They're like, you supposed to feel this way. You be like, nah, I'm kind of grown now. But but sometimes it doesn't happen. It
No.
still
Yeah.
doesn't happen.
And I,
But
I think that it's such a great thing to have a safe space to be able to untangle those things, because I think oftentimes what happens is, you know, like you said, we are a filing cabinet full of everyone else's thoughts, feelings, emotions of how we're supposed to be. But getting to a space where it's safe to be like, you know what, this is in my filing cabinet, and I don't think I really want that there. And it be okay, because especially, and I can say this from the African American community growing up, you know, it is it's a newfound thing to where we are much more emotionally aware
Yeah.
of how past things affect us. And I think there's a new generation emerging that's saying, hey, listen, that's what y'all did.
Yeah.
That works for you, but it doesn't serve me and my peace anymore. And to have spaces where we can come and be like, you know what? This is all the stuff that's in this here filing cabinet, and I don't even want none of this stuff in here. Like, what can we do so that way we're not passing on
Yeah.
the same things to the next generation, and we're not taking the same hurt and trauma and putting re-traumatizing the next generation, because that's all we know. You know, our parents, our grandparents, they did the best they could with what they
Yes.
had,
Yes.
but we have so much more information and knowledge now that, you know, we have to start undoing some of those things, even though they did them thinking they was doing right by us,
Yeah.
but it didn't serve us, and it doesn't serve us now. So I think that having a space to where you can untangle those things, and it be a safe space to say, you know what, this doesn't serve me, let's get rid of this, let's get rid of that. And then it's a ripple effect when you are smiling in the shower, or you go, you know, Thanksgiving is probably one of the most triggering holidays for us,
Yeah.
because you go around people you ain't seen all year. The first thing they're gonna say is they're gonna tell you that you're fat. They're gonna talk about your hair. They're gonna tell you what you did or you didn't do. I mean, it's just it's a whole thing. You have to mentally prepare yourself to be
Right.
around people, but to go. I can see going into that space having a different file cabinet where it's like, oh, they're talking about you fat. Okay, child, I've been fat my
Yeah. I love
I've been big, baby. I've been big my whole life. What you saying? I'm still fit to eat this plate though. So pass the pepper. I don't know.
that's
You know, so that is to have those spaces to where people can come and undo, so that way we're not continually passing on the negative. We can pass on behaviors that will serve the next generation and the generations to follow in a better way, because we know better. So I think that
yeah.
what we're doing is phenomenal. I think it is a space that is needed, because, you know, we can't reshuffle the deck of the hand that we're dealt. But what we can do once we get to age, we can determine how we deal those cards and
Yeah.
what we do with those cards. And some of the cards we just need to set on fire and throw away. So yeah.
Look, we're
So
not trying to go to jail for arson and stuff now.
I love what you said though, Kendra,
no,
because it
no,
really is.
no. Some of the cards we need to set on fire.
It really is about that,
no,
like
set them on fire.
set them on fire. We'll do it in a safe, contained,
Yeah, safe contained way.
Yeah,
But set them up, put them in the grill while you smoking the turkey. We should smoke the cards while we smoking the turkey. That's what we should do.
Oh Lord.
I'm trying to help somebody get free.
I love it. 'Cause
I feel
but what you said though is so key. It's about this pattern interrupt, right? It's about saying like, I don't want to take this path anymore. I want to choose a different path for myself. And you said something else that I love, which is sort of staying in your own peace. And I think that's what the work that I offer really does for people. It allows them to come back to the choice of their own experience. Actually, I want to react this way. And taking that beat to think or pause or breathe and be like, you know what, my best bet here is to respond this way. And once we do this clearing work, those new responses, those more resourceful ways of interacting with people become so much more natural. And that's the most common thing I hear. It typically is around our in-laws, where it's like, oh, I interacted with my mother-in-law today and I didn't have any of the normal like stuff that
I did not flip that table over. I just walked away. Like because I flip things. I listen. I used to be. I'm not as bad as I used to be, but I used to just clear a room. I just flip it over, get out. Just now, I'll just go home, and I'm not coming. Like who all over there? That's my question. Nope, not coming. See y'all next time. But I had that right, and I'm aware. Like you're not gonna trigger me, and you're not gonna put me in a position to where I'm gonna cut up because I know that I can. we know I can cut up if I want to, but I'm not. I'm trying to can with y'all, not tear up nobody's furniture. So I'm gonna stay at my house where it's sunshine and lollipops over here. The dog is happy, the TV is on, the football is playing, and everyone is safe. And I'm not going down to Greenville County Detention Center because I done told somebody else.
Yeah, you get to maintain your inner peace. That's your choice, right? Now you're at we call it being at cause of that versus at effect of other people's behaviors, choices.
You're not gonna trigger me.
Yeah,
and that is a space to be in. That it's such a peaceful space. So y'all ain't gonna trigger me. I know what y'all looking for. Y'all looking for a reaction, and if you keep pushing, you might get one. But I'm trying. I'm gonna hang up the phone, and I'm not gonna talk to y'all because I'm gonna been said something that I can't take back. Then you gonna be mad because I talked about your mama, and then y'all gonna be like, "Oh man."
Yeah,
now we're gonna talk about the mama, Lord.
That's the first thing out my mouth when I get mad is somebody's mama. Now y'all know that's why I try not to get mad because I first thing you mad me, and I'll be trying like I don't have a mama, and my mama told me I got to stop doing that. But
well, you better listen to your mama then, because if not, I'm gonna tell her.
Wait a minute,
I'm gonna tell you not listening to her.
You won't snitch on me?
Okay. Well, technically, everybody who watches this show right now can tell.
I'm not gonna let you trigger me. You're not gonna get a reaction out of me, okay? Because you're snitching, and that is not a quality that I'm not gonna let. We're not gonna do that in front of company, okay? So
okay, well, Doc said I can go through the breakthrough process.
I'm taking my power back. You're not invited to the family cookout no more, and you snitch. I'm telling you,
y'all didn't want me to cook nothing anyway. All I'm doing is bringing the ice, so it'll be all right.
Make sure you bring the Sonic ice this
but
because don't nobody got time for them big old chunks.
But one of the biggest things I did want to ask real quick, because we're going through and making sure that you're changing the narrative and definitely having healing meet in a different part of mental along with wellness. A lot of times, most people think of, especially now, because people will take advantage of mental health days. But in some part of the circumstances is wellness goes so much. Like you don't think about like if you go work out on a consistent basis will help your mental side. If you go and speak to a therapist, we on the show believe medication is good, but therapy and Jesus go hand in hand. So it's just something we really believe in within the show. So, but when it comes down to it, like what is your advice that you could give someone who will be listening to the show, or viewing the show, that you could tell them that your wellness mindset and your wellness on taking care of your body, how much that works hand in hand, because you can work out a lot and still be broken.
Yes, yes. I love this so much because it really speaks to the, we think that there's a body and then there's a mind. And God did not create us that way. God created us as a whole being that has a body mind. If we think of these things as one unit, as one integrated thing, it becomes a lot easier to see that all the aspects are really vital if you want to be well. And so I have this simple formula for health and wellness. And ultimately, in its most simplest form, health equals nutrients in, no, nutrients in, yes, and toxins out. And this happens biochemically. So we need to eat good foods with good nutrition, and we need to leave out some of those toxic foods we were talking about before. This happens physically. So we need to I use the word nutrify. We need to nutrify ourselves with, yes, fresh air, good water, exercise, positive relationships. And we need to leave out, physical things that are not good for us. I'm going to pull up a chart here so I don't miss anything as I'm talking about this. So for example, physical toxins, pain, injuries, inflammation, things that will slow down our healing, right? Inflammation in its chronic sense. So we've got biochemical, we've got physical, and then we can move into the emotional. We can also have nutrients emotionally, right? Love, kindness, compassion, peace. And we can have toxic emotions too. Things like loneliness, boredom, depression. And so we can actually use this equation on all the levels of our well-being. Mental comes next, right? So mental toxins would be things like negative thought patterns, maybe low self-esteem, maybe anxious worry thoughts, that kind of thing. But then mental nutrients are things like challenge and things that you can sort of plan, and problem solving, and those opportunities that we can sort of be creative, right? So we can actually take care of ourselves on all levels by thinking of this simple formula. What do I not have enough of that I need more of? Nutrients in, nutrifying. What do I have too much of that I need less of? Toxins out, detoxifying. And we can even bring this to the spiritual level, right? Connection with God, creator, universe, whatever it is that you believe in, that would be a nutrient in my mind, versus being, say, misaligned to who you are in your heart. That would be a toxic thing at the spiritual level. So you can see that from a root cause perspective, there's lots of ways to approach health, and we need all of them, right? And so to answer your question about, do I have a tip or an advice, I would actually suggest that viewers and listeners go through this idea of what's good in my life that I want more of, and give yourself more of that, and what's not good in my life that I need less of, and detoxify that out of your life. And obviously that is simple to say, it's harder to do, but that is essentially going to get you the health outcomes that you're wanting.
I mean, and that really, speaks volume to me, because I know for a fact, I ain't gonna lie, I hate the gym until I get inside.
Yeah.
Like I really do. I hate the gym until I get inside. And then once I'm in there, but I do realize it plays a huge mental part on me as well. Like, and once I'm in that zone, once I'm in that mindset, I'm more free, I'm more clear. You do have a lot of stress in life, and most people doesn't understand that will help you mentally. But I've always heard it. I truly still believe it. You can't cheat a bad diet in that mindset too. So if you're working out, trying to de-stress, but you're still eating the wrong things, you're not doing your body the best justice that you can do. So it's just really a mindset. But now we have a doctor who said it on our show. So now it's just not looking like me and Kendra are just blowing smoke. Because some people might say, because some people like, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. Now we have a doctor who has validated it. So we're not blowing smoke, guys. but yeah, I mean, I just think it's something that, at the end of the day, um, you can't cheat a bad diet. We are pressing the holidays, so people can't, you can still judge to eat healthy. You don't have to confine in eating, what you wouldn't want to eat. Um, just so you can still, because like you just said, like there's negative toxins emotionally, but there's also negative toxins physically, and you want to be able to eliminate both.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. Exactly. And I think it's important to think about, you know, the the big picture, like the big picture in terms of where you want to go in your health and your life, but then also bring it down to the smallest details. Like every time I'm eating, I have the opportunity to stack the deck in my favor, going back to the cards, right? Every time I put something in my mouth, I have the choice to nutrify myself or toxify myself. And that's a choice that we get to make, and we get to do this emotionally, mentally, spiritually as well, right? And it's the accumulation of the good in and the bad out that is going to, and how that literally how that math works out, that is going to indicate whether someone's well or not well, depending on what their goals are, of course. Yeah.
So
And
if
I
the
want to
math
actually mention,
ain't
like,
mathing,
going
then
back to like going back to eating and say healthy or versus not healthy food habits. I'm always going to be questioning every behavior. I believe every behavior has a purpose. It's trying to meet some sort of need, some sort of attention or intention. And so if there's, say, a habit of, you know, vegging out with like the bag of Doritos and the Skittles in the evening or something, as an
Man,
example,
she knows me too well already.
telling your business,
busted,
telling your
busted.
business
You know,
in
we
that
might
house, over on that side, over on that side.
we
On
might
East
think,
Shore.
well, what's wrong with that habit? And we can list the things that are wrong with that. But in the words of Gabor Mate, who is addictions and trauma researcher and physician here in Canada, he actually just has a new amazing book out. But he says, not what's wrong with the behavior, but what's right with it. What problem is that behavior trying to solve? And I love this because we can actually get back at choice of our behaviors when we understand what the behavior is trying to do for us. And every habit is meeting some sort of need. So maybe the Skittles and the Doritos is about numbing, or maybe it's about escape, or maybe it's about feeling that like rev of sugar that you get, and that makes you feel alive. And you didn't get opportunity to feel that way in your younger years when you wanted to feel that way, or maybe that was suppressed, or it just brings us back to that idea of curiosity and compassion. Like, well, why is my body even wanting to do this my body mind, why is it even wanting to do this behavior? What is it getting out of it? And that is the way out of our problems, to be honest, when we can meet that intention in another way. Okay, I'm bored, so I'm eating. Well, what is it that's needs to be relieved in terms of the boredom within me? What can I create in my life that will alleviate that boredom, that take that toxin out, right?
Wow. Well, I ain't gonna lie. I love Cool Ranch Doritos just like Christian McCaffrey does, and I actually enjoy Skittles. I like the tropical kind and the regular ones, not the wild berry or very berry ones.
I like
But
the purple bag. Give me the purple bag. But
but
you know,
see, if you do the purple bag, I ain't gonna never eat them. So yeah, go ahead
well,
and
you
do
got
that
to get
then.
the blue and the purple bag, the mixed bag. But see, I had weight loss surgery back in April, so it'll take me 4 to 7 years to eat the Skittles anyway. Because
One at a time. Yeah.
Well,
literally one at a time. But I think that like you said, there's always a need being met because
Yeah.
we're human beings and we're living creatures, and there's always something. And I think, especially as we approach the end of the year and everyone goes into that self-reflection mode of what went right, what went wrong with the year, what the goals are for the coming year. I think it is a perfect time for us to take this moment to give an alternative thought process as we are closing out 2022 and getting ready for 2023 of how our year could literally be shaped and be catapulted so differently if we stop and dealt with the mind first, and then everything else will follow, because it all starts again with that mental part. So as we reflect over, the next 4 or 5 weeks as the year comes to a close, this is the perfect time to take what Dr. Winchester has said and kind of do a self-evaluation as to how it fits for you. And if you need those additional resources and you need the help, this is the perfect time, to say, hey, going into 2023, I'm going to talk to somebody, because we are pro mental health. We are pro around here. We believe that when you get finished praying, go talk to somebody. Because
Amen today. Because
that's
I'm
what
going
the
to talk
good
to
Lord
somebody this
gave
week.
us medical professionals for.
Yeah.
You better have your appointment. You probably got about 3 or 4 appointments
No,
because
I
you
don't.
need it.
No,
But
I am not that broken headed. I'm going.
shut up.
I'm
I'm just
going.
saying.
I'm going later on this week, but I am not that broken. But
Yeah, but you are. No, I'm just kidding. But but no. So
I
I
want to
think
circle back to something that you said about when you don't want to go to the gym until you get there, and then you like being at the gym, right?
yeah, but part of I think the military did that to me. I'm gonna be honest with
I
you.
don't like going. I
Okay.
don't like going. I don't like being there.
But
I
I
don't
wanted
like
to
leaving.
say, so what I've really found, people often wait for motivation, and they want motivation to come to them as if it's this thing that is outside of them. I'm just waiting for motivation. I'm waiting to be motivated. I hear people say this all the time. And what I've really figured out is that motivation is actually the reward for commitment. So when we make a commitment to ourselves, okay, for the next 30 days, I'm going to go for a 20-minute walk. We may not be motivated to do that. It may take a while to be motivated to do that. But what I find is, say, 10, 12, 14 days in, the motivation starts to really drive you. And that's when the commitment starts to pay off. You get the reward of being like, yeah, I want to go for my walk at lunchtime. I'm super pumped about getting out in the fresh air now when I wasn't before, but the commitment was the way to get that little nugget of motivation.
I mean, I will say this: once I actually leave the house, really, I think it's a part of leaving the house.
Yeah.
So once I actually leave the house, I'm in the car, I'm doing what I got to do, and I'm there, like I'm in the parking lot. At that point, if I'm in the parking lot, I'm over committed now. But I'm there, I'm doing what I got to do. I'm so focused because um, there's just things, what I'm saying, that I know for a fact that I'm going to do. Plus, I just gave it away. I love Cool Ranch Doritos and Skittles, man. I gotta go, you know what I'm saying? So I can eat my Cool Ranch and Doritos and Skittles. But because if I don't go, I'm gonna still want to eat them, but I'm gonna be like big as my house is if I continue to eat them like that. So it's just more of knowing that. But I definitely know um, your mental mindset. It is more clear while I'm working out. And at the end of the day, it goes hand in hand because my mindset, how I eat healthy, my mindset while I'm in there getting the work in, they go hand in hand, and it does help out a lot. I don't think a lot of people understand that, but like I said earlier, you can't cheat a bad diet. Like you cannot, and I don't eat it every day. Like I might get a bag of Cool Ranch Doritos once a month.
Yeah.
Can you stop that? Talk about you
And so
lying.
I wouldn't call that a bad habit. Like it's something that you enjoy once in a while, and that's the perfect use of moderation.
right.
It's
That's like that apple pie I ate for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
As good as I've been on this here diet and these extra large leggings been, oh baby, I'm eating apple pie. And it ain't and I didn't feel no type of way. Because
Yeah.
I worked hard for my little piece of apple pie. It was good too. And I made it from scratch by myself. Yes, Lord.
That sounds amazing.
It was good. I don't cook much. I don't cook much sweets. But I decided to dibble and dabble because apples are good for you. And I just figured I would try. And oatmeal is good for you
Them
too.
apples have sugar in them now. Come on
They
now.
did, and that oatmeal had butter, but it don't matter because apple. It was in there. It was. I got some protein points from the apple pie.
So you try to say that apples that you ate kept is gonna keep a doctor away? Now, doc, now
Yes,
you
it
know
will.
that ain't right.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. It will.
Doc, now you know
That's
now, doc,
yes,
you
it
know
will.
that ain't what that meant.
Yes,
Uh,
it will. I'm just saying it was good. It was good to my soul, and I'm not sorry about it because I had looked in my file cabinet, and my file cabinet said that I was allowed to eat some apple pie on Thanksgiving. That's what it said.
Well, it's so true what you're saying though, because we especially, with the habits that maybe from the outside not looking the greatest, but there's something that is really wonderful and nourishing about it. Like there's food is one of our most delightful pleasures as human beings, right?
Mhm.
And if you go into something being like, I'm just going to enjoy this apple pie that I made from scratch on this very special day of the year, and I'm going to absolutely feel so good about that, that's nourishment versus the numbing. I'm just going to,
I'm gonna eat apple pie.
I'm going
And
to
just
just shove and shove and shove until I'm in a coma, essentially. Like that's a very different experience.
mhm.
And the difference is that intentionality of, yeah, I'm actually choosing to enjoy this versus I'm eating this because I'm bored, lonely, sad, depressed, anxious, whatever it is, right?
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Thought process.
Yeah.
I'm making some
you
apple
eat. Well, I actually was going crazy some Skittles earlier today, but I didn't give in because the machine wouldn't take my money. But it
Coma said,
wouldn't.
you know what? This is why.
It wouldn't, y'all. It would not. It wouldn't take my money.
You
But
should have
that was the Lord saying I didn't need them. That was
damn
the
right.
Lord saying you didn't need them. It was the
Well, you wanna
Lord
know why?
saying,
You wanna know why? Because see, if it was, if you would have had them, if they had the little swip swipe on it, because they got the swip swipe debit card machines now. I bet you if it was a debit card machine, it would have took it. Mm-hmm.
by the time I would left that building, probably. But I was trying to do right though. I was trying to do right. But but you know me well enough. I probably would have took that card out.
So
It's about two or three of them in there. One of them would have said, "Hey, how you doing?" But but before we get ready to wrap up today's show, I want our viewers to know where can they get Smiling in the Shower and how can they get in contact with you.
Yes, I am available on the interwebs at Tonia, that's Tonia, Winchester.com. That's actually the book information page. On the socials, it's at Coach Tonia everywhere. Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram. Yeah, she says with a question mark because she doesn't use social media much, but I am available there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, guys, definitely make sure you check her website at TanyaWinchester.com. She's definitely taking care of everything going around in the world, definitely taking care of people in Canada. Now we got somewhere we can go travel at, Kendra. We got to go see some people up there.
I got a passport. I'm ready
We
to
can
go.
go to a Toronto Raptors game or something. We can
We
go up
gotta
there.
go in the springtime though, because it's colder. Is it snowing yet?
Where I live, it's really mild. So I live on the west coast of Canada on Vancouver Island, and we're at like 9 degrees today, which I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit. I can convert that if
You
you guys.
said 9 degrees, baby. I'll see you this spring. I can't see you right now. It's 40. It's 42 degrees here. My heat is on 9 degrees.
9 degrees Celsius is 48 degrees Fahrenheit.
Oh, well, that's not bad,
Okay.
That's
Kendra.
not bad. We get
All right.
snow like maybe 1 week out of the year where I live, but other parts of Canada,
We
yes.
can go see her, but
Yeah.
I'm not going to that other part where it's already snowing. It's
No.
We
Yeah.
can go to Toronto.
my
I bet Toronto.
No, I'm not
Lots-
going until springtime.
Lots of snow in Toronto. Yeah.
You don't want to go to Montreal?
Springtime. Holler at me in the springtime. Springtime. In the springtime, when the weather has broken. Not right now. Mm-mm. I don't have clothes for that. I need about 57 layers. I don't have that.
57. Girl, you gonna go up there and cook?
I'm gonna have to if it's 12 degrees below zero. If I don't, I'm gonna come back frozen. I might break a bone or something because my blood and my bones done broke because it done got too cold. I don't want that. I'll see y'all in the springtime.
No, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Well, guys, KP, you gonna do me a good favor. You gonna take us on out. Most importantly, guys, if you do us a huge favor, also you can always subscribe to the show. Tell all your family and friends about us. If you actually want to hit us up, if you want to be a part of the show, or because earlier part of the show we did drop a video of someone worshiping. You can always drop those out. Hit up There's the email address right there that you can always send that to. And if you want to be a blessing to sow a seed, one of the biggest things that we are doing around here and we're helping, there is a place in Greenville called Sunday Dinner with a Twist where they go around and help feed the homeless throughout. We are actually taking up money with them right now. We'll be sharing some information on our Facebook page soon, where you can actually help donate to help them feed the homeless individuals. It is really a great opportunity that you can give back. It is a tax donation as well that you can do, so you can write it off if that's what your plans are. But the biggest plan is you want to be able to help these people. That's your number one goal. Um, Outside of that, we want you to be a blessing to others as much as you're a blessing to yourself. Outside of that, KP, you got anything for us as you get ready to sign us out, baby?
No, listen, this has been the dopest 1 hour and 1 minute and 56 seconds of your week. Thank you for tuning in with Beyond the Airways with T. Wright, Kendra, and Dr. Winchester. We will see y'all next week. Y'all take care of yourselves. We love y'all. We out.
Peace.